The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
The 44 gets loose off of corner number 4. It's going to be a photo finish to the line in the grass, but the 44 will hang on for the win. Here he comes with the crossover. Fellison to the inside. Is it going to be a Las Vegas photo finish? They touch. They wreck. Who's going to get it? Upside down. Who's going to get it? Fellison by himself. Now he has a 72 of O'Connor. It's going to be a 2v2 race to the checkers. 2 up top, 2 to the bottom. It's going to be Ingram. It's going to be Rainville. Who's going to get it at the stripe? Photo finish. It's going to be Rainville. Is there enough? This is going to be a close finish. What is going to happen? Is there enough fuel to get him around 2 more corners? He didn't have enough. The final corner. There goes Zach Nichols. Sarah ran out with 3 corners to go, and Zach Nichols will win here at Mostport. And is he going to go for the last-ditch effort? Is he going to use the back bumper? What will Devin Sarah do? We head into corner number 3. He's going to sail it on in there. Does he get to the bumper? He turns him. He turns it for the win. He wrecks him. We saw how Ruddy, is that a word? Ruddy?
I don't know. Just go with it.
All right, we'll go with it. We've seen how Ruddy turn 3 is getting. And
so these guys, once again, doubled up, stacked up, and ready to go back green flag racing here behind the iRacing.com Facebook pace car.
Don't know where that came from, but we'll let it slide.
What was I thinking?
Lucama is located in Wilson County in North Carolina. It's a small town that consists of just 1,200 people. Known as the heart of tobacco country, it's also known as the home of the Southern National Motorsports Park. A high bank 4/10 mile track has been a staple on late model calendars since 1993. And tonight it hosts the iRacing Sprint Car Cup Series. Welcome everybody to PTRTV, where tonight we are proud to give you coverage of week number 11, rounding out season number 2 of the iRacing official calendar. Only 1 week left in it, so we'll hear and see what people can do in tonight's race. It's myself, Corey Silva, and Tyler Orn in the booth, and very quick pre-race show, Tyler, because they already finished qualifying. The little quick timer went off, so we gotta immediately hop and go trackside and give you the opening lineup.
All right, Corey. Well, great to be with you here tonight. And for your starting grid, on the pole position, it's the number 3 of Derek Love. On the outside pole, the number 5 of Austin Rich Miller. Starting third, the number 6 of Gwendolyn Old. Great start for her. And fourth, it's the number 4 of Jeffrey Stanton. Rounding out the top 5 in the 5th position will be the 8 of Josh Batista. And to his outside in 6th, it's the number 11 of James Nunn. In 7th, it's the number 1 of Ryan Sellers, the 3rd place driver from last week at Irwindale. And 8th, it's the 14 of Wade Fields. Starting 9th, the 7 of Dan Smith. And rounding out the top 10 in the 12th position, it is the 12 of Jason Steinhurst.
And then we got a 15-car grid tonight. Mitch Janowski, a 2-time winner this season. He's going to be in the 11th spot. 12th, we have Rich Foreman. 13th, Ron Quinzel. 14th, we have Zach Armistead. And then rounding out our 15-car grid is Donnie Staubitz in that number 15 ride. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to PTR TV for tonight's efforts. Again, thought we had about 3 more minutes of time to get you ready for the race, but the iRacing quick qualify bump up feature kind of threw us off on that, so apologies for that. Quickly, our weather conditions before we have green flag conditions. We have 2 quick pace laps around Southern National. 83 degrees, very warm here with an 85 degree track temp, minimal about a 5-mile-an-hour south wind, so that temp should go down as the lights do come on and we end under near darkness here as see what happens with Derek Love and Rich Miller on the pole.
And Corey, you mentioned this is a high bank track. It really reminds me of a mini Bristol of sorts. Everybody will try and be towards the bottom going through the turns. And I should note too that this is a slightly longer race than last season, 74 laps instead of 65.
Yes, it is. So we'll see what happens. Pace car is in. We're getting ready. There we are. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Southern National. Love's going to get that run to the bottom, and we'll see what happens. Stanton is on the top of the racetrack, which is usually not where you want to be here at this track. That inside line, as you said, Tyler, is where you want to be, but he's going to try to clear Old on that outside lane.
And we know Stanton really tries to run a little bit of a different groove compared to a few of the other drivers, and Old right behind him now backing up, but so far pretty single file at the moment.
Yeah, single file for the moment indeed, but we'll see what does happen. We have a little battle going on. It looks like Josh Batista was taking a look underneath James Nunn in that 11 machine, but wasn't able to do so, and he'll take one more stab at it. The race that we do have this week, Tyler, is essentially imitating a big sprint car race in the country, the Little 500, which is a big race at Anderson Speedway, which is a quarter-mile, 17-degree banked facility. So they try to emulate that here as best they can. Obviously, we don't have Anderson, but the tracks are vaguely similar, as we do have some battle in about 6th, 7th. Ryan Sellers on the outside of Dan Smith. Again, Sellers not having the best streak of races besides last week, as he's fighting to hold on to 7th.
Yeah, that wasn't the best qualifying performance by him, but he is one of those drivers who tends to let the car come to him as the race goes on. But yeah, so far about running mid-pack, and we should notice we've got some contact, but we're still green. This is a relatively small field compared to what we've been seeing, and I would suspect if we stay green, we're going to have some lap traffic, but if we get a couple cautions here and there, the leaders should be very clean.
Yeah, I would expect that to be the case. Again, a lot of the drivers in these in this sprint car series do have real world affiliations. So with the big race at Anderson this week, actually, I believe it was either tomorrow or the subsequent day, one of the two, but this is a big week for that with the little 500. So a lot of guys are ready and headed to Indiana for Anderson. So I think that may have taken some of our field, at least that's what I was told in pre-race, but it does look like that Stanton in that number 94 machine. He's registered as number 4 in our server today. A lot of big wiggles out of him, and I do see Old closing back in and trying to regain that 3rd spot.
You can tell coming off 4 that last lap, he was really loose on exit, and we've seen these drivers, they really have to wheel these cars, especially coming off the turn, but so far they've stabilized. Really your top 2 have got a little bit of a distance on 3 and 4. Throughout the rest of the field, it's getting pretty spread out.
Yeah, we did have that big battle going on for roughly the 7th position in and about the area of Ryan Sellers, but he was able to pull away from Dan Smith. Wade Fields in that white and green and black machine to the back of Smith. I believe Smith has won a race this season, if memory does serve, but it's been a long season, so not quite positive. We'll check the stats on that a little later, but it does look like Fields is just running that little bit lower of a line, and Smith is trying to shut the door on him, which he will do successfully.
And I have to tell you, our top 2, Corey, Austin Rich Miller is getting just a little bit closer and closer to that back bumper of Derek Love. He's not quite there yet to try and make a pass, but I can tell he's got some speed.
Yes, he does. And again, we do have that longer race, Tyler, as you mentioned. I think it's about 11, not 10, 9, something like that, more laps than we had last season when we did cover these guys. The first duplicate race that we've covered in the channel. So it'll be interesting to see with those longer laps, if this does go green, you know, the fuel load, how we always talk about the fuel burn getting wiggly, as Rich Miller just did there, if the balance of the cars does change significantly in that extended distance.
I'm sure it will change, and some of these drivers are particularly good at setting up their car to be better for the long run and as the race progresses. But I'm a little bit shocked, Corey. These leaders are going to catch up to our cars towards the back. You got Donnie Stalbitz, Ron Quinzel, a few other drivers running towards the back, and they're on pace to catch up to him pretty quick.
Yeah, and I'll bring up the lap times on the left side of your display right now. Last time by Stalbitz at a 13.6 to Love's 12.7. So I think that is now I haven't seen Stalbitz in these series, Tyler. I don't know if that name rings a bell to you. So maybe a newcomer to the league, but to the series rather. And at this one groove track, lap traffic will be very, very important to see how you can get around them. It might gain you a spot, it might lose you a spot.
If you're Austin Rich Miller or Jeffrey Stanton, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to have an opportunity to really make that pick, and
Stalbit's getting well out of the way there.
Yeah, Audi got out of the way. I think he's coming in the pits, Corey. He might have a problem.
Might have a problem, or maybe he realized, hey, I probably shouldn't have signed up for this race. I'm not quite experienced. I believe I'm going to go with the latter on that, Tyler. We'll see indeed. And I believe that the answer is yes, but we'll see. Yep, the answer to that is yes. So Stalbitz is just going to say, yeah, we'll practice a little bit more. Somebody Corey around. That's who is that? Rich Foreman will be our first caution on lap number 27.
I think we had some contact going into 3.
Yeah, I was waiting for our replay to queue up here. Yeah, so he did have the 13 car underneath him. Let's go back just a little bit here, and the replay wasn't fully loaded up the way I'd like it to. 13 machine of Zach Armistead. I'm going to call that one a racing deal, Tyler. I personally think, and Foreman might not like it if he watches the broadcast back, I think he squeezed him a little close there, but close enough to say that it's a racing deal.
I agree. Zach Armistead may have come up just a little bit off that apron, but he was also coming down as well, so I'd call it a racing deal. Yeah, so remember, in this series, caution laps do not count, so
We will freeze on lap 27, and the running order will stay as such. But I was about to say, Tyler, before that happened, I do have the back end, some more back end analytics here, and if this race stayed green, it's only about 10 more minutes of actual green flag racing. So while it is, in the realm of about 50 laps to go, it can absolutely fly by when you're only running 12-second lap times. That's just do the math, about 5 laps a minute essentially.
Yeah, again, already on lap 27, our first caution tonight, and that's a bit unusual for this series. You've seen a lot of cautions break out a little bit earlier in the race. Again, a smaller car count, but now that these guys are bunched back up together, we may see some more yellows, Corey. But on the other hand, though, I was really excited to see those leaders try and navigate that lap traffic they were catching up to, but just didn't quite have time.
Yeah, that's how it plays out. We've seen races in this series. Our opening stint of these races that we covered, they were pretty clean and green, but as the series did fill out with more drivers, it did get more cautions. But pace car is in, and we're back to green flag racing here at Southern National. And I'll tell you, we usually expect very big jumps from the leaders on the restarts. Didn't quite see it that time. Rich Miller was ready to go.
Yeah, he really timed it right there with him coming off of 4. Back down the straight, and these laps just tick off so quick, as you say, Corey. But those top 3 with Stanton right behind have a little bit of a gap between the next, Josh Batista, Gwendolyn Old, and Ryan Sellers, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Old is going choo-choo to the back of the train right here. She got passed by Batista, and now she's going to get passed by Sellers. So that 3rd place starting effort now. Divide that by 2 because she's back to this. Well, multiply that by 2. She's back to the 6th spot. That's not what you want to see. So maybe she'll be able to regain some of those positions, as we do have 13 cars left of the race. Dan Smith and Donnie Staubitz out of the race here. As here comes Old trying to get under Batista. As Sellers gets into 4th. Big wiggle.
Oh, we've got a wreck in the back coming off of 4. We're still green. Cars are still wrecking down the backstretch.
Yeah, that will certainly be a yellow, I would think.
Yeah, there it is, coming up. Wow.
Yeah,
our leaders were going full speed there, coming off of 2.
So you'd think NASCAR was in control of that race, of that there with that yellow flag. But we'll go back and see what happened. So the 11 with the it's not actually the number 71 machine, but it's 71 who I'm trying to put a name to an incorrect number here, so I don't quite know who that was.
I think that's James Nunn, Corey.
Yeah, Nunn was the actual 11. I'm trying to find the car that does have that 71 livery on it, but that was the one that made contact with Nunn and sent him around.
Yeah, Wade Fields.
There we go.
Number 14.
Yeah, that's the one thing about covering official races that can get difficult. We do like to let people show their schemes, and we don't like to just have everyone running the default iRacing scheme. So we do keep the liveries on, but again, the numbers can get a little confusing. So again, forgive us for that one.
Yeah, Wade Field just a little too aggressive there going into the turn, but these guys are going to have to regroup. Still have quite a few laps left, not even halfway.
Yeah, but it just comes to the point of what this racetrack is it's a one-lane track. It's so fast and it's so small that you'd think a track with most tracks that have a lot of banking, Tyler, they end up being fairly multi-groove, but this track is just so fast and so small that and so tight turned that just geometrically the outside is just never gonna work here. It's just it is kind of just a bottom feeder track, and I don't really see that ever changing outside of a reconfiguration, really.
You're exactly right, Corey, and I know I called this mini Bristol, but what I really mean is this is mini 90s Bristol, with that bottom groove being so preferred. You have the high banking, you carry so much momentum through the turn. They're going in about 120, 125 mile an hour on entry, coming out in the high 80s, so they're still carrying a lot of speed going back down the straight. Yeah,
it's just ultimately, like I said, it's just a pure geometric problem. The outside has to have the geometry and the physics to be in play to make it work, and it's just the boxes aren't checked here, but it makes it both interesting and something special to watch. You got to fight for those spots, but that pace car is in. We're gonna get another restart on the books here, and look at Sellers jumping the gun here. He's going right to the inside of Stanton off the get-go.
And Derek Love, I can't tell if he backed off a little bit or he just timed it just right, but got a little bit of a gap there on Miller, but he's catching back up.
Yeah, Stanton stuck to the outside with Batista, and that's Drunowski with a big wiggle there right in front of Old. He'll regain that control of his vehicle. Fields right behind him, but look who we see going for second. I'm going to tell you, Tyler, and I know you'll get the reference. Sellers lately with his qualifying runs, he's kind of like 90s Jeff Burton. He always ran in the, he could not qualify to save his life, but give him 3/4 of the race and he'd always find himself in contention, and that's just what Sellers has had to do lately, dig himself out of these holes and try to see what he can do with it.
Yeah, he's definitely turning into the mayor of the Sprint Car Cup as he goes to the inside and takes second place.
Yeah, he didn't, he took that spot. It was not given to him, and I wouldn't say he fully had the position. He took it. He's like, I want this win. Derek Love is right in front of me. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen Sellers on the top of the podium, if memory does serve. I hope he didn't win last week because I feel like an idiot. But it seems like we've seen...
caution, Corey.
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like Zach Armistead in that number 13 machine is doing some donuts on the back straightaway, but not the kind you want to do. Replay on our screen now. He's entering turn 1 and 2, and that's some contact with Rich Foreman. Contact once, contact twice. That 10 machine of Ron Quinsel, very lucky to sneak by.
And that's Rich Foreman's second incident tonight, I believe. Just brought out a caution.
If this was a league, he'd probably be parked for the day, but again, this is official racing, so there is a 25 incident cap, so but I don't think 2 incidents will get him there. But in terms of safety rating, he may have a slight issue after the race, but it's early in the week. They do have 3 of these SOF races a week. I was told in pre-race that they're not too sure how well Thursday and Sunday will do, so this is probably going to be the main race of the week, but I want to have that good run to help yourself out in the iRacing official points.
There's one thing I've learned, Corey. If you want to lose your safety rating fast, just either run a short track or a super speedway.
But if you're an oval driver, Tyler, and you need safety rating, this as if you're watching this live, is actually the best race, the best week to ever gain safety rating, because it's Coke 600 week on iRacing, and I know my oval rating is absolutely tanked right now, so chugging along Charlotte for 400 laps will definitely get that back up, but I don't know if I have the patience for it. But definitely running these short track races and having an incident or two is not going to help causes.
And Corey, I think we've got an issue going down the front stretch. That might be Zach Armstead is way off the pace. I think he may tow it as the drivers go by, or that could be a scoring error. I'm not sure which, but he is parked. Yeah, this reminds me of a Martinsville race that someone parked in turn 1 and threw the caution out and cost Jeff Gordon the win. I can't remember who it was, but shades of that. But either way, we are on 1 to go. Armistead is where he needs to be, and we're going to try this one more time. We'll see what happens with Ryan Sellers in second place. And again, Sellers is ready to pounce today right on the back bumper of Love after the restart. Yeah, those two have separated themselves yet again. Everybody single file so far, coming out of 4. Sellers right there. Some of these other drivers throughout the field jostling for position. Nice. Jeffrey Stanton looking to the inside. We've also got a lap car not far ahead of these leaders. That's Jason Steinhurst. Yeah, Stanton was trying to get in and around Miller, but just can't quite get the track position to do so. But Sellers definitely stalking the back of Love. Love is a guy who we wouldn't expect to make any significant mistakes. So Sellers is really going to have to put that car in a good position, because I don't think Love is going to give it to him in any capacity. And there's some battling going on. Batista, Old, 6th, 7th, and 8th right there. Old just made a nice pass to the inside on the last lap. Mitch Trunowski right in front of her. Foreman, big wiggle there. A couple positions back. He'll fall back off the... lap traffic, Corey. Here we go. We're side by side. Almost 3 wide coming off of 4. Yeah, and that gave Sellers a lead. He didn't quite catch it. Let's go back on replay very quickly so you can see exactly how that pass shaped up. You can see here on replay that slower car just right in the middle of the corner.
Love had no choice but to back off, and Sellers was he was spaced appropriately where he could just turn left and get around both of them.
Yeah, I'm sure Derek Love is not super happy, but that's a part of it. You know, with the lap traffic, I don't think he expected the lap traffic to show up that quickly, though. Yeah,
dead center in the middle of the corner. Again, that just kind of comes to experience. I mean, some of these drivers that we've covered this series, Tyler, for about almost 2 seasons now, about a season and a half, something on those lines, and we've come to know many of these drivers quite well. And when we see a new guy, most of the new guys, you know, do struggle with the car. Stanton getting really loose and almost into the wall. A huge wiggle off of 1. That's going to allow Drunowski to get by and bring Old to the back bumper. But yeah, back to my point. This is not a car that you can just hop in and go. So some of these drivers, you know, have had some practice, and it's quite evident when some of them have it.
I must say, Derek Love, he is right behind him now. He is not letting Ryan Sellers ride off into the sunset.
Well, in fairness, I think the sun has already set, but that's just to be a nitpicker to act.
It's an analogy. My goodness.
I know. What fun would it be if we weren't aggravating each other? But yeah, to your point, yeah, Love he's not staying with him per se, but he's not falling off. He's kind of within about 0.2 of a second, but there is another lap car. In fact, it may even be the same one. So I guess if karma is appropriate, that lap car should screw up Sellers and equilibrate everything. But look at Rich Miller. You know, he was dropping back, but maybe he has that long run setup because he pulled away from Drunowski and Stanton and company, and he's ready to play with these guys.
And I got to tell you, Corey, looking ahead at Jason Steinhurst's lap car, he is well off the pace. You know, he was going about 115 mile an hour or so into the turn while these guys are going over 120. So yeah, we'll see.
Whoa! He didn't get off of 4, and he's going to get out into the second lane. And on exit, he's going to hard check up. So he did the best he could. But yeah, he's running about 0.8 of a second a lap slower than your leaders right now.
And Austin Rich Miller not that far behind either.
Yeah, Miller's trying to experiment with lines. You can see he's trying to enter a little bit higher and seeing if he can drive down the hill and get a straighter shot on corner exit. And it's just not really doing for him what I think he needs it to do. And that line also does burn the right rear up. It does heat the right rear up a little bit more trying to do that. So we'll see what happens. But these guys have pulled away by about 2 seconds over Drunowski and again, Old Stanton not really having the best of runs today, all the way in that second pack. But look at Love, got right to the back bumper in the center of the corner. Looks like Sellers may be getting a little bit unstable here late in this fuel run.
And also, we've got another lap car. That's Zach Armistead. They should catch up to him if we stay green.
Now, I'm pretty sure this is reminding me. Oh, no, some contact. Bump and run.
Loose. Oh, there they go. Caution. My goodness, that Ryan Sellers has got to be looking behind. What the heck just happened?
Yeah, Love, he had trouble just trying to get himself turned around there. I thought he did. We'll have to get a better look from our chopper cam because he looked like he was doing the classic bump and run, and then it just completely backfired on him. So we'll go back on PTRTV replay. See, on the back straightaway here, kind of a net code bump, if you will. It was Rich Miller. Rich Miller was too close, and when that checkup happened on the bump and run, it just, I think Love checked up. He either checked up to give Sellers a chance to save it, or he just checked up because it kind of got him loose. Not quite sure, but either way, Rich Miller was too close. And it caused a little stack-up reaction.
Yeah, he just wasn't expecting it, Corey. You know, you're coming off the corner, trying to get back on the throttle to get the momentum, and you know he was battling for the lead as well too. And just unfortunate that they got collected. And Austin Rich Miller actually might be okay. He kept it going straight, so hopefully not too much damage on his vehicle.
And I'd argue that he may be the fastest of the 3 drivers that we're battling right now. So, I mean, remember these tires and on this car and this tire iteration on iRacing, heat cycles are very, very crucial. So the more cautions we have, the more it will affect the handling of the car irreversibly. So for some drivers that helps, for some drivers that hurts. But if Rich Miller, based on the trends, can get a decent restart, I think he really does have a shot at this.
No, he definitely does. It's anyone's race at this point, and you never know what can happen as well. Even Derek Love, I don't think, had that much damage, but of course he's all the way in the back. Had to come in the pits and at least get that car checked out.
Yeah, again, it was, as we looked at it on replay, I mean, we are in the world of internet racing, so there wasn't physical contact between the cars, but iRacing perceived it to be contact. Whether that was his intent or not, again, the world will never know. But unfortunately for Love, a potential win is off the charts here tonight. But we'll see if Sellers can pull it off here today, or if Rich Miller or somebody else maybe can sneak it out pace cars. And we're going to take the green with 11 laps to go. Green.
Check up.
And Drunowski
looking to the inside. He's got second place.
I wonder if there was some damage. I wonder if there's some damage on Rich Miller or something like that, or maybe that heat cycle is just not working out.
Corey.
Yeah,
multiple cars collected coming off of 4. They're a big pile up.
Yeah, Stanton involved. Foreman, I think that's his 3rd caution of the night. Whoa! Foreman just, I don't know if that's suspension or if he decided to just absolutely murder Batista there. Watching the replay, I'm pretty sure that was intentional. We'll go back here on replay. Batista to the inside. He's going to dive it on in there. He's going to spin Foreman out. Stanton, innocent bystander. And then watch Foreman here. He's going to get that thing looped around, and he is going to set, aim, and fire.
Yeah, that seemed very intentional to me, Corey. I don't think the suspension was involved in that. Rich Foreman clearly upset, but he has been involved in quite a few incidents tonight,
well,
so sometimes you got to look in the mirror a little bit.
Well, Tyler, I mean, if there's one thing that we do know about these sprint car drivers after a race with something like that, it'll be fun reading the Discord chat tomorrow.
Hey, there's a lot of passion, and again, it's not a league, but it sure feels like it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to check the Discord chat tomorrow after that one, but so an interesting shuffle of events there, because we don't quite know if Rich Miller just lost, got some serious wheel spin, but he went so high in turn 1 there on that restart, leading me to believe that maybe something was driving wrong with that car. But it put Drunowski in second. We haven't seen Drunowski in have the speed to battle for the win, so that might be a positive for Sellers, but anything is possible. He's only going to have to go at it for 9 or so laps, so maybe that 2 has something in his back pocket.
No, I think he does. He's got a lot of speed, and again, there's a lot of comers and goers in this series. We've talked about it numerous times, how some drivers have their cars set up for short runs, some have it set up for a longer run. You talk about the fuel load being burned off and the weight distribution changing. I think Mitch Drunowski could have a chance for our leader.
Well, for the sake of an exciting finish, I sure as heck hope that is the case. So lights are out on the pace cars, so we'll find out in a very short time frame what indeed is going to happen in that regard as we enter turn number 3. And immediately through 4, they're going to high train it on against the wall and block any potential passes before the line. Green flag in the air, and Drunowski definitely was ready for that start. Now the $1 million question, does he have the tires, does he have the car and the handling to challenge with Sellers? And right off the bat, he's going to stay relatively close to him.
So far, he has the speed, but again, this is a very bottom groove track, and he's going to have to make an aggressive move to get to his inside.
Yeah, you definitely have to be creative here at Southern National. Maybe a high-low attempt, maybe a little bit of bumper action. I mean, that's probably the last-ditch resort, but it's always on the table here. But so far, with 6 laps to go, you can see Drunowski just wiggling and getting sideways. He's really putting everything he has into it, and Sellers is maintaining or pulling away slightly.
Yep, Brian Sellers, I think he wants this to stay green. He doesn't want another caution to come out and bunch these guys back up, because you never know what can happen on a restart. But yeah, a couple car links right now. That's some good battles throughout the rest of the field. Got Derek Love still mixing it up.
Now,
Jeffrey Stanton and Wade Fields farther in the back.
Yeah, Stanton in 5th now, but I don't think he's going to stay there. He might drop back to 6th or 7th. Old has had a modest recovery. She got back up into the top 5. As we do have 9 cars on the lead lap and 3 drivers out of the race, Nunn, Smith, and Staubitz. But we're on 3 to go, which is literally only about 2 minutes worth of action here. I think Old may have a shot at Rich Miller. Change of events, thought he was going to go for the win. Now he's going to fall off the podium.
White flag.
With the white flag in the air and about a half-second lead for Sellers. So he didn't have the qualifying run, but tonight through the chain of events and a fast race car, he's going to take the checkered flag winner of week number 11.
Ryan Sellers, I wasn't so sure when he had that mid-level qualifying lap, but he showed once again why he's one of the best in this series. Just methodically made his way up through the field, battled for the lead and held on to it.
Yes, he did, and we'll give him congratulations, but let's go ahead and give you the final results here tonight from Southern National Motorsports Park. Ryan Sellers with that half-second win over Mitch Drunowski. Austin Rich Miller had a shot at the win, but no, that last 10-lap chain of events put him back to 3rd. Gwendolyn Old, a decent recovery. Thought she was going to have a worse finish, but it finishes in 4th. Wade Fields had an eventful night. He finishes in the top 5. Derek Love, he's going to be stomping his feet after this one, finished 6th. Stanton just didn't have it here tonight. 7th, Ron Quinsel, Zach Armistead, and again, Rich Foreman had an eventful night, rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, number 12 of Jason Steinhurst, to his outside in the 12th position. The 8 of Josh Batista. All these guys had kind of a rough night. In 13th, the number 11 of James Nunn. 14th, Dan Smith, and rounding out the field in 15th, the number 15 of Donnie Staubitz.
Indeed, that's the case. We're waiting to see who we have for interviews. And it does look like we did just find our race winner, so we'll bring him on up here. So Ryan, I know you're qualifying everything. We're relating you to an old school Jeff Burton here. You can't qualify, but you've been managing to get yourself in good position at the end. But it was an eventful race. Had a good battle, a little bump and run that was put on you, and luckily it worked out in your favor that they couldn't recover from it. So talk about the win in the race here tonight.
Yeah, like you said, that's I think that's 5 weeks in a row now that I can't qualify on Tuesdays. So trying to work on that. Obviously not working too well still, but I knew it was going to be a long race with being 74 laps. Some reason after we did a little 500 here not too long ago, everybody's been super fast here. So kind of set my stuff up to come in about halfway, and that's honestly when it started coming in, and caught a couple caution breaks there. And honestly, I don't know what happened there with Derek. He kind of just tried to run over me, it looked like. So glad I saved that. And yeah, it was just like you said, a very eventful race.
Yeah, and it looked like it was kind of like a net code bump and run, but he had Rich Miller close enough to him that it stacked both of them up. But speaking of Rich Miller, he really seemed to have some speed. We thought he was going to have something for you, but those last couple cautions kind of threw him off his game there. Were you worried about him in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, a little bit. Austin's done pretty dang good here lately. He's really been fast here, and see him qualify second and run up front most of the night, it's pretty cool to see. And I was just timing the restarts right, and that second to last one, that he must got loose, or I might have checked up too much for something, but see him fall back was a bummer. And then Mitch got around him, and once that last restart took off, I was happy to be able to get a decent lead on Mitch and just cruise away.
Yeah, you did just that, man, and kind of shake the monkey off your back here, at least with the victories anyways. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
DR Speedworks, Dan Smith, Rich Foreman, Bill Guest, Leary Shock Technology, you guys for broadcasting. Bummer you guys aren't coming back for next season, but really appreciate all the work that you guys done this season with broadcasting our races.
Yeah, anytime, man. Maybe a one-off in the future. You never know, but well, congrats again, and we got one more week with you for week 12.
Thank you.
And Tyler has caught up with second place, Mitch Janowski.
Yeah, Mitch, great run tonight. Got the runner-up so close, but you started 11th, a very methodical move through the field to get to second place. How was it out there tonight?
Car was pretty good. Struggled in qualifying a little bit. I got a little loose and really didn't have much on either lap, so I started in the back, but the car was really good in the long run, and the more laps we turned, maybe some people were falling off, but the car was coming to me and I was able to pick a couple of them off. I think I got into the back of Dan early, so apologies to him, but the car would just come in the longer the run went on, and a couple of the yellows in the middle of the race set me back a little bit. I just had to get some heat back in the tires, and maybe if I had, just one less yellow and a little more heat in the tires, got by a couple guys quicker, maybe I would have had a shot for Ryan, but I got a shot there at the end and he was just a lot faster. So good win to him. Congrats. And the car was pretty fast. It was a fun race, fun coming through the field.
Yeah, and speaking of yellows, as we suspected, this was a very bottom groove track, and it seemed like a lot of drivers were having to really dive bomb almost into the turn just to try and get to the inside. Was there anything in particular you were trying to do to make those moves throughout the race?
Yeah, the bottom definitely helped me a lot. When I would move up, it would just get a little bit too tight on exit, so trying to really hook that bottom was my goal, and if I could do it right and get a nice straight run off, my goal was to just try to get a better run down the straightaway, and like you said, just kind of throw it under him if you could and just try to keep him pinned on the outside till you could clear him.
Anyone you'd like to thank tonight, Mitch?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast every week, and hopefully if I'm not back in the booth next week, hopefully we'll see you guys next season. Shout out to all the guys that have helped me get better at the car. Shout out to Ryan for the win, good run, just everyone's part of the series.
All right, Mitch, well, great run tonight, and we'll see you at Richmond.
Thanks, guys.
And now we have third place tonight, Austin Rich Miller. Great run, man. You had a couple good shots at the win, and I don't know if it was heat cycles or maybe some damage from that little incident with Derek Love. But talk about that little incident with Derek Love and what happened there, and what happened that kind of took you out of contention with Sellers there at the end.
Yeah, we just run so close here that you don't have much time to react. I was just trying to get low, and obviously Derek was trying to avoid Sellers going low as well, so we just got together. I'm surprised I didn't flip. And then I got wheel damage from there, so I was just holding on there for the last 12 laps.
Well, that explains it. We were wondering why you went so wide in turn one there on the one of the restarts. Well, that definitely explains it. But just talk about overall the race. We've obviously seen that Southern National is essentially a bottom feeder track, a lot of dive bombs and such quick laps that it's hard to really make runs happen. So luckily you had a good starting spot, but what's the biggest challenge we're getting around this place and racing against such good competition?
Yeah, the straightaways are so short. It's hard to actually get a run on someone unless they're just off pace or make a mistake. So you're kind of just waiting. Like I was on Derek for a while there. I was just waiting for him to make a mistake, and I wasn't going to force anything.
And he didn't really make a mistake. I think iRacing kind of shafted him with some net code there, but unfortunately it kind of took you out of it as well. But either way, you still managed to fight for the podium here tonight. Any shout-outs or thanks you want to give?
No, just thank you guys for broadcasting.
All right, anytime, man. Congrats again, and we got one more week with you guys. We'll check you next week at, I think it was Richmond.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that is our race tonight for the Sprint Car Cup, Tyler, at Southern National. Again, a good one, and in the end, Ryan Sellers, we can't call it a dominant effort like he had earlier in the season, but methodically gets himself through the field and gets the checkered flag here tonight.
Yeah, both Ryan Sellers and Mitch Radowski very methodical moving up from their not so great qualifying positions, and Austin Rich Miller just very consistent. Not great that he had that damage there going towards the end, but still a lot of fun race, a lot of action tonight, and I'm sure Richmond will be great as well.
Yeah, so most certainly the case. So make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the finale of Season 2 of the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. I think Sellers has it in the bag from a championship perspective, but it should be a good race at a different kind of track that we really haven't raced at this season, so should put on a good show. So again, signing out of the booth tonight is Corey and Tyler. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.